Just doing a couple sound tests here. Okay, I think I'm gonna turn game volume down just a little bit. Alright, dear viewer, it is your Royal Majesty, the CDI Queen, and CDI, Princess Gestationally. If you had joined me on my last stream, it suddenly cut off because my power went out. And when my power came back 5 hours later, in 100-degree weather, it had been just enough to have my air conditioning go out completely. It was an old system, we were on borrowed time, but last 4 days have been a nightmare, but I'm finally home. And we're back to normal. So, the game that I had started when I was last streaming was kind of a pain in the ass because it just so happened that the rolling of the dice on the world map to start was really restrictive. So, we're starting over again. We're gonna have a streamy stream. Let me turn my ringtone off. So, Valheim, the worst part about this is I gotta, like, start all over with my discussions. Valheim is a really fun game. I like to play it on some easier settings. I like to play pretty much all of my games on easier settings. Some people consider that to not be real gaming. I do. I think that as long as the game itself was made with these toggleable difficulty preferences, then obviously the game is designed to be played that way. I do make a point to not do any kind of mods to make things easier, because I could see someone finding that to be a little unfair. But as long as it's something that the game was genuinely designed to be toggled, it doesn't bother me at all. The way I see it, if it makes my playing experience easier and more enjoyable, then I think it's worth it. So, Valheim, it's pretty simple in essence. Here's a little introduction. Basically, all it's telling you is that there's some evil beasties coming up in one of the 9 worlds, and Odin, you know, the main god of Norse mythology, is grabbing up some dead Vikings and bringing them to this one level of the worlds, and we gotta kill some monsters. So basically what we're looking at here, this game is essentially like a it's like a Norse Minecraft, a relatively unforgiving Norse Minecraft. It has progression to it. So what we do is we move through a series of biomes that are scattered about the world in islands that are randomly generated for each game. And as we master each biome we start in, we start in a very easy one. We collect items and weapons, we get stronger, we defeat a boss, and then we move to the next biome where we will learn the items and things from that. It can be a little bit repetitive. If you want to read what Hugin tells you, Hugin will be giving you advice. But this is where we start. These are the stones that are going to mark all of the beasties. So the first one that we're doing is Eikthyr here. This is what we're going to be building for. So we're going to read this stone, and so this is your world map. This is the entire thing. It just hasn't been found yet. This is what we have uncovered. This is actually the path that we had in the introduction, which is kind of interesting. And that's where our little beastie's gonna be. But obviously we're not ready yet. What we are gonna do is start gathering some supplies. Building a shelter, getting some food, making a couple crude weapons. And building up a little bit more until we're finally ready to get Eikthyr. Eikthyr? I don't know. So, it's a really relaxing game, even though it's a little challenging and can be a bit intense. What happened in the last game I had was the map that we started on, it was just a really, really, really tiny island. And it was entirely surrounded by the next biome, which is the Black Forest. You'll see the Black Forest because it has pine trees. And there was not enough resources to play with, and it was not a good example of the game. And it was getting really frustrating because you can only walk around one tiny, tiny, tiny little island so many times. Before you exhaust the resources quickly. So, here's just some really super basic stuff we can make. Gonna make a club. Here's my inventory. I picked up some food, so if you look over here on the bottom left corner, this is our food. We can eat 3 unique foods at a time. This is our health bar, and then you'll see the stamina meter appears in the bottom. There. So, these different foods, they can give you some health and some stamina. It's kind of like macros. Macros, I think that's what it's called. So the key is... Ooh, he startled me. Yeah, this already looks a little better than the other one. So you just want to get a good balance of health and stamina. And right now, it's so early in the game that it's not that important. But as time goes by, it will be very, very important. So it's good to kind of learn these concepts well before you have to really seriously rely on them. I have not beaten the game. I'm about halfway through the bosses, I think, in my major game. So what we're also doing at the same time is we are looking for a place to call home. Throughout the land, there's... Oh, look at that. A lot of raspberries. There's going to be randomly generated... I mean, everything is randomly generated, right? So... there will be, like, abandoned settlements, and we are hopefully gonna find a nice one that we can call home. Because there are days, and just like Minecraft, we don't want to be out at night. There's a couple different reasons why we don't want to be out at night. It's not just because there's more beasties out then, but it's because our recovery rate... You see how my stamina bar... is... Now this is a good starting map. My stamina bar is recovering, so I kind of pace myself. At night, there's a little beastie. At night, when you're cold, it gets cut way, way, way. So, like, your recovery time just gets so slow. It's not safe. Not safe to be out. And we're gonna make an axe so we can fell trees and stuff like that. But right now it's easy to just kind of wander around. See, here's a nice little house. But I want to get a better survey of things before I call it home. Because sometimes we can find some really nice ones. That one's not real big. Plus it's got a wasp nest in it. Those are easy to take care of, but not until we get a bow. We really need to settle into a home before we build a bow, so. I like to pick a place for my main base in a big open spot like this because it makes it easier to work with and find. So sometimes we get real lucky. Once we settle into a home, oh, is that one over there? We will trace the edge of the map. So what I do every time I get to a new island, because all this map, it's island, 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 islands like that. And we'll build boats and stuff like that so we can get across them. But, oh, I really thought I saw a building over here. What I do whenever I get to a new island is I just go around the perimeter of it. So I know how big it is and I get an idea of what we're dealing with. And as time goes by, we will be encountering biomes that we cannot go into. And that'll happen more and more the more you travel, so it's good to get used to it. Uh-oh. There's like no abandoned buildings. A lot of times in these big flat spots like this, you'll find like a cluster of them, and that's really cool. That's what I'm hoping for. Oh yeah, see, look at that. That over there. That's it, man. That's home. Oh, look at that right there. Hold on. What's bigger? We'll take whatever's bigger. Oh, there's more there. Okay. See, this is what I was talking about. That's not bad. And when you get a little further along, too, you'll get these whole big encampments. That's not bad, but oh yeah, you see that pine tree there? That's Black Forest. We don't want to be too close to it because some of the nasty beasties we're not ready for, they kind of bleed through the lines. So when you start getting closer to them, they can come over, and that's not good. We're not ready. I'm thinking this one here is nice. Oops. So much for sneaking. We can always move. Oh no, this is so small. I think this one over here was bigger. We can change. And eventually we'll make like a lot bigger places. But right now the goal is to just get set up, build some furniture, get a bed and a fire. Get it so that we can be sleeping and exploring more. I really thought this one was bigger. No, it's not. Dang it. Well, I'll tell you what. Since this one over here is more complete, we'll set up camp here and we'll expand. Oops. It's totally customizable. You're not locked into anything. You can start from scratch. You don't have to get one of these, but it makes it so much easier. So we build a hammer. And then we build, well, we can select the hammer and repair. Oh no, we need a crafting station. Oh, I don't have enough wood. Okay, hold on. Oh, he's wearing a little vest. That's cute. Come on, I just need one branch. those raspberries later. Right now we just gotta focus on getting this house set up. Alright. This is just fixing the exposed stuff. And this does deplete stamina, so you can't keep doing it forever. Fast. We need a fire. And we need a bed, but we need more wood for that, so... Workbench, you can build more stuff. We're gonna need to make an axe. Okay, we need one more piece of wood. Always one piece of wood. We'll start with these ones that are down. We can pick up these dandelions, and right now we can make a crown. There are seasonal crafting items, and once the season's over, you cannot make them again. So it's good to make them while you can if you want them. Put a bed. Build a door. This is for roasting meat. This will give us some more health-centric items, and as time goes by, we will eventually be able to cook and do all sorts of fun stuff, but in the beginning and for a little while, we'll just be roasting stuff over the open fire. So, we'll do that tomorrow. So for the rest of the day, let's get some more wood. You want to be rested too. When you're sheltering, you get rested. Go to sleep. Because rested helps bring back the speed of your stats faster too. So you pretty much don't ever want to be out if you're not rested. Just make that a habit. Oh, I had a spot in the roof. I didn't see that. Whoops. And this is all the different things you can do to build. So you can build anything. There is some physics to it, which is pretty cool. So you can't just do anything. Can't have floating stuff. Alright, so let's eat a little bit. Oh, let's make our crown. It doesn't do anything, it's just fun. And like I said, soon we won't be able to make it anymore, so... So today, now that we have a little base, let's start mapping out the edges as best as we can. So we go down to the coastline, and we're just gonna work around, exploring little pieces at a time so we can get an idea of just how big this island is. And while we do this, we want to hunt things. We will build a bow, which will make hunting things much easier. And if we end up finding a bigger, sweeter house, we'll change. No biggie. But we want to settle down into a good place before we get too far along, because we're going to have to start building chests to store our goodies, and then we're going to have more equipment for upgrading, and it'll become... This is just fog. It'll be... Ooh, Black Forest. Okay, can't go any further there. It'll become a real pain in the ass to have to move things. Oh. Oh, shit. That's the problem with the fog. This is probably a boar spawn site. There's ruins around the place, and some of them mark spawn sites. Oh. Oh, shit. Okay. Shit. Do you remember how I said we don't want to be too close to the Black Forest? Well. Those are gray dwarfs, and they are in the Black Forest, and they leaked out, because I guess I was too close. God damn. Where is this Black Forest? Oh shit. Oh my god, we really gotta get out of here. Where's the Black Forest? Oh, it's right there. God damn, god damn, god damn. Okay. I said oh shit because I saw a shaman. Than I needed. They're probably still following me. I don't think the Grey Dwarves will let up. But the Grey Dwarves and their kin are the least threatening thing we could have chase us from the Black Forest. So we'll be thankful for small favors. Alright, so we made it to a safe coast. And there's good stuff down at the coast, too. We will find flint. It's these here. Which is essential for many, many, many nice things. It's a little heavy, so watch your weight. You can check that right here. We gotta hunt deer too, but since they're so skittish, it doesn't really work until you get the bow. And we'll be making one next. Yeah, this is a real nice starting island. On my main game, the starting island is massive. Just absolutely massive. Oh, and that's another kind of enemy. It's a neck. They're easy to kill, and you can cook them too. And later they're useful in some recipes, so. Ah, this is what I wanted. This is where we'll make our home. Isn't this cool? Sometimes you get chests with stuff in them. This one had arrows in it. All right. So, we'll start over. And we'll go back to the other one and clear out our stuff. But since there wasn't a whole lot there, it's not that big of a deal. Nice and convenient, right? Because eventually what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to build nice big sturdy walls around here and really make it a useful base. more stones. And you can repair your items here too. Yeah, this is nice. The coins are not super useful right now, but they will be later. So you want to start hoarding those. Tomorrow we'll go back to our other house and grab all the stuff. Which at this point is just not letting wood go to waste, really. And these things here, if you see these really specific rows, like ovals of rocks here, what is going on there is there's actually things buried down here. And once we have a pickaxe, we can get in there and get it. It's usually just like treasure and stuff. So that's cool. That's what those are. When you're going early on in the game, it's good to kind of mark them if that's something you care about. You can mark things on your maps, these little icons right here. So I'd probably go and put like treasure or something like that if you wanted to. There. And then we can start building some chests. To store our stuff. The comfort level has to do with like the nice stuff in your house. And the greater the comfort level, the longer the rested period you will have. Oh, I didn't get any meat from the necks? Huh. Oh no. Not enough ventilation. What? That place wasn't ventilated enough? That is something you gotta watch out for. We might have to make this place a little taller. I think you can build like a little chimney, which I've never done before, but my husband does that sometimes. Let's see. We'll try. Is that off kilter? see if that's good enough. Oh yeah, see that? Isn't that nice? Actually, hang on a second. I gotta grab something real quick. Alright, sorry about that. I think I'm gonna give this about 20 more minutes or so and then call it a day because my leggies are a little swollen. I'm 33 weeks pregnant, so there's some kind of weird stuff happening. Oh no, we want to make see, we can start making better armor. But I want to make this bow. Because it'll make life so much easier. You will be surprised. Well, probably not. You probably will not be surprised. Oh. Oh, you know what? We need to make a roof. We need to make a roof for that, chimney too, because if it rains, it's gonna pour right down into it and extinguish our fire. Now, one thing we can do that's kind of fun, I'll show you. If there is a building that we know we're not going to use, like this one way over here, I know I'm not, because I'm settling into this this little settlement over here, you can build a crafting bench, which will allow you to disassemble. And then we can reap all the wood from it. Dang it. Get out of here, man. We'll finish this later because the sun's going down. Is my smoke stuck in the air? Huh. Why is that uneven? What did I do? Well, that should be good enough to at least get some sleep. So I will now show you the magic of having the bow. This part's too high. I'm just gonna put a panel here while I work. That's a little bit less ugly, right? Ugh. Why is that pig running away? What the hell happened? Oh. The birds drop feathers. We need the feathers for arrows. We're gonna keep going up here a little bit. Ooh, no, we need to make more arrows. Oh no, we don't. What was happening, so I had found those flint arrows. That's what it was, okay. I thought they were shooting pretty good for wood arrows. The wood arrows suck. So I'm gonna keep mapping this out for a little bit. And while we do this, we're gonna be able to collect animal stuff because we got our bow now. Oh, nice little island over there. know how you feel about it, but I find this game to be very aesthetically pleasing. Ah, see, there's a chest up there. I don't need another torch. Oh. Oh, really, dude? Oh, come on! If I had had a melee weapon, I could have... Yeah, you know. This is great. This is a great starter map. Alright, there's a little bit of Black Forest there, so I'm gonna stop. Don't want to get too close, or we're gonna have those gray dwarves chasing us again. If we're lucky, it'll be gray dwarves. The other beasties you may find in the Black Forest. There are skeletons, which are not too bad. But then there are trolls, which are very large, very strong, and once you're prepared for them, they're not bad at all. But when you're not, you will die. This is a great map. Oh my god. There's tons of meadows. And there's Black Forest. Okay. And you always want to be aware of where you are, especially when the day starts getting a little bit later. Because you don't want to be really far from home when the sun goes down. Here's our summoning table for Eikthyr. We'll return here much later. So I'm just making a big circle back to where we were, and we can fill in this spot in the middle while we get, see here, we can cut across there and just kind of fill in this map a little bit more. Kind of hoping we'd see more wild animals. I heard a deer, but I may have startled him. I really want to find where that wasp nest was. Maybe that... I'd like to find a... They'll be in these abandoned places. You see the wasp nests. It's actually a beehive. I'd really like to find another one because you can keep bees. And the bees are really good. The honey is real nice. Oh no. I alerted that boar. Great. I missed. Alright, I'm gonna get back to the house here and then I'm gonna wrap up because I'm getting progressively tired and swollen, so... We'll pick up later. This game's off to a real good start, so I think you'll enjoy it as we progress. It's a lot of farming stuff, but it gets interesting. So I'm gonna stop here. We will pick up another day. I'm not really working on a schedule right now, so just make sure you have alerts set up so you know when we're here. I appreciate everybody tuning in, or if you're watching this as a playback, you know, I hope you enjoyed it and it helped you out and you liked it.